Hi, brothers and sisters. How are you doing? I'm Michelle, and I'm going to be reading from Jim Stevens' book, 101 Proofs for God. And as you can see from what it says on the title, it says eye-opening new information showing there has to be God. Okay? Yeah. So, this book, it has the most amazing pictures, just so beautiful. And after what we're going to be reading, the proof for the existence of God that we're going to be reading today, you're going to want to check out the star of this particular proof for the existence of God. Okay. I am reading chapter 72, or it's proof number 72, and it's called The Superb Lyrebird. Most birds have one or two sounds that they can make or songs that they sing. The fact that any animal can make such sounds at all is a phenomenally complex accomplishment involving their ears, brain, syrinx, beak, mouth, and lungs all working simultaneously. It is so amazing that it would impress the great composers. And in parentheses, Jim has written, I highly recommend this webpage reference as an introduction about bird sounds and the messages they are communicating. It will really inspire you about birds. And he says, see the footnotes for some sample passages that are in this book. Okay. The vocal skill of birds derive from the unusual structure of their powerful vocal equipment. The syrinx is the sound producing organ in birds. It is the equivalent of the human sound box. The syrinx contains membranes which vibrate and generate sound waves when air from the lungs is passing over them. The muscles of the syrinx control the details of song production. Birds with a more elaborate system of vocal muscles produce more complex sounds. The lyrebird in Australia gets even more complicated by a whole new order of magnitude. Not only is it considered by many to be the loudest bird in the world, but it can hear, remember, and then somehow imitate extraordinarily complex sounds and sequences. Check the footnotes for some links to videos on YouTube where lyrebirds are videotaped reproducing sounds such as a chainsaw, the hammering in of a nail, sawing on wood, a camera shutter, a motorized drive on a camera shutter, a radio broadcast, and even a man cursing. This excerpt is from an article in Wikipedia that I highly recommend for more information. Let's read it. The lyrebird syrinx is the most complexly muscled of the passerines, songbirds, giving the lyrebird extraordinary ability unmatched in vocal repertoire and mimicry. Lyrebirds render with great fidelity the individual songs of other birds and the chatter of flocks of birds, and also mimic other animals such as koalas, and dingoes. The lyrebird is capable of imitating almost any sound, and they have been recorded mimicking human-caused sounds such as a mill whistle to a crosscut saw chainsaws, car engines, and car alarms, fire alarms, rifle shots, camera shutters, dogs barking, crying babies, music, and even the human voice. Wow. When I get a free minute, I'm definitely want to hear some of these sounds. Looking forward to checking out this incredible bird. Please go to my footnotes for a list of additional videos on YouTube of the superb lyrebird. And then he says, Jim says, I guarantee you will be amazed. All right. In the wild, males will not only flawlessly imitate some 20 different species of birds, but multiple calls from each. They're particularly fond of imitating Australia's famous laughing kookaburras, and Dalziel has heard them mimicking the wing beats of small birds jetting through the forest understory. Up to 80% of a lyrebird's song can consist of such mimicry, according to Dalziel. The superb lyrebird can imitate other birds so well that they are completely deceived into believing it is one of their own. Scientists who study the lyrebirds say they have fossils dating back 15 million years ago. Wow. The lyrebirds get their name from the beautiful tail feathers on the male that grow when he is 3 or 4 years old. There are 2 species of lyrebirds. They're called superb and Alberts. But only the superb species has these amazing tail feathers. Evolutionists have quite a number of problems trying to explain how this ability could have developed slowly and gradually in the lyrebird. They never actually discuss how changes in the brain or vocal mechanisms take place. They refer to some generalized explanation of sex appeal in the male, making him more attractive to the female after he has evolved. That's just a distraction because there is no evidence of how he could automatically evolve. Describing an ability is not demonstrating evolution, so don't be fooled, Jim says. One big problem for evolutionists is, what was the order of development of the needed parts, right? Imagine the brain of a lyrebird and how it evolved. Did it first evolve the ability to hear, record, and memorize a very complex sequence of sounds slowly and gradually? How would that be a benefit to survival? Then, many generations later, its lungs, syrinx, and beak changed so it could make all those sounds it had already remembered. What about the other way around? Did the mouth, throat, syrinx, and lungs slowly and gradually evolve to this level of specialization, and then the brain evolved, after that? Could all these complex mechanisms have evolved all on their own without the brain? We know the answer to that. Note that the anatomical mechanisms evolving slowly over many generations would have to conveniently evolve piece by piece without any desire until the whole thing would suddenly work. Impossible. I'm saying impossible. Once the musical instrument existed, then the brain has to be able to play it. the brain would have to evolve so it could eventually learn how to take the stored memory of a sound and reproduce it. Did this take many generations? Maybe when you were a kid, someone made for you a flute out of a hollow bamboo reed. You blew in one end and were shown that by covering different holes, you could make different sounds. So far, so good. But how long was it before you could play a song on that flute? And then it wasn't easy, right? And you were a pretty smart kid. Learning to play even a simple musical instrument is not easy. The other possibility for evolution is that all these complicated, interconnected systems developed simultaneously. First, they were 1/10 developed, then 1/4 developed, then 1/2 developed, and so on. In this case, it doesn't seem like anything will work very well until it is all finished. There seems to be very little survival benefit at each of the intermediate stages along the way. So how could evolution like this be realistic? Besides that, the chances of many interconnected mutations happening nearly simultaneously is just non-existent. Evolutionists believe that the lyrebird accidentally developed a very sophisticated vocal mechanism, way more complicated than a homemade flute. The lyrebird can create thousands of sounds compared to a few on your flute. That bird brain also accidentally figured out how to instantly remember various complicated sounds that it hears, and then somehow learned to reproduce the exact sounds and sequences using its amazing vocal apparatus, way beyond some simple flute. That bird brain had to have accidentally developed not only perfect pitch, which it has, but also perfect rhythm, timing, and beat in order to repeat a series of sounds, right? Furthermore, it would also have to have a photographic memory for sound. If a human being could accomplish something like this, he or she would be considered one of the wonders of the world. The lyrebird could not have evolved, Jim is concluding. It was designed. So there must be God. Okay, there we have it. So yeah, remember lyrebird, right? Lyre bird. Okay, Google it. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.